Hello families, I'm coming to you today to show you some great resources that are available to you, as well as showing you how to best utilize ParentVue, especially at this time of the year in order to view the best version of your child's report card. So the first thing I recommend that you do is go to our school website, odyprep.com, O-D-Y prep.com. Once you're there, there's a lot of wealth of information on our website that's available for you. I highly encourage you to check it out. For the purposes of today's video, I'm going to show you how to access your Scholars Report Card. So the very first thing you'll do is you'll want to go to one of your campus locations. My own children are at Goodyear, so I'm going to go to the Goodyear site. And then if you scroll down, you'll see this access point that'll direct you directly to ParentVue or your Scholar to Student View. So I'm going to click on that, and you'll come to our login page. I'm going to log in as a parent. If you need help with your login information, please contact Lisa Autry at Autry, A-U-T-R-E-Y, at tobamail.com. So when you come to ParentVue, if you've noticed by now, EduPoint, who hosts our gradebook, has updated the view of the site. So I just want to walk you through a couple of helpful pieces of information. In order to toggle between students, you just click on this menu here and you can see all of your scholars that you have available for you at our Odyssey schools. So I'm going to go into one of my elementary scholars' gradebooks and see how he's doing in school. So then the very next thing you want to do in order for you to be able to access your Scholars Gradebook or report card is go to this menu over here, and you're going to want to click on Report Card. And if you scroll down, you're able to see the basics, their overall grade. So for example, these are all of their class periods. My son happens to be in 5th grade, so these are his grades for his first quarter. I highly recommend, although on this view you can see the overall grade, there's a lot more information available to you. So all you need to do to view the full report card is click here on this link, and it'll take you to the full report card. Now, the report card has a lot of really helpful information. So the very first thing is the basics. For example, the course title, so you know what class this is. This Q1 is the overall grade that Scholar received in that class. So for example, my son earned a 3 in Humanities this quarter. It'll also show you how many absences your Scholar has, how many tardies they have recorded. The most important thing about the grade book and the report card specifically is it breaks down all of the skills that the scholars worked on in that quarter and how your Scholar did specifically on those skills. So over here next to each skill, you'll see their grade for that skill. And then those grades are all averaged together to give the overall grade for the class. This information is super helpful because it allows you to see, okay, my scholar's doing really well in describing the difference between primary and secondary sources. That's a strength for him. However, if I come down here, I see this one, so I know my son needs to work more on introducing the topic or text clearly, stating an opinion, and create an organizational structure. I know my son doesn't really enjoy writing, so this doesn't come as much of a surprise for me, but it's definitely an area that he needs to work on. I could also look and see some of these areas that are 2s, again, concluding statement, organizing his reading, his writing, his reasons. So all of these things are tied to writing. So I know that when I'm talking to my Scholar, I could say, hey, great job on these. Now what are we going to do to work on these skills? What did you do to do so well and earn these scores? Focus on actions when you're asking them those questions. What did you do to earn this for? And then ask them, okay, so now that you know what you did well that can help you earn this score, what can you do to bring this score up and do better on it next quarter? Those are going to be really helpful conversations for you and your Scholar to have at this point in the year. So anyway, to go back to the gradebook, again, you can see the overall grade here, but if I had just looked at the 3, I would have said, okay, my Scholar's doing pretty good in Humanities and left it at that. I only know the areas that he needs to work on by clicking on the overall report card. So please make sure you click on that and download that for your information. The next thing I want to just discuss is the gradebook. A couple of helpful things to remember is when you do click on the gradebook, now that the quarter 2 has started, you'll need to toggle between the menus to be able to access the correct quarter. So I'm going to go back to quarter 1 just to show you a few features of your Scholars Gradebook. So what I can see here is obviously the overall grade, but again, that only gives me the overall grade. It doesn't give me a lot of specific information. I can access that specific information by clicking on one of his classes. So if I go to Humanities, I can see his overall grade again, and then I'm going to see all the assignments. Now, as a district, we use standards-based grading. So the gradebook automatically defaults to what they call assignment view, but that is not the most effective way to view your grades. You're going to get the most information if you click on Standards View, and that'll allow you to see your scholars' grades in the gradebook correctly. It'll also give you a good graphic here that'll help you see the areas in which your scholar is doing well as the areas in which your scholar needs to improve. Now, if I wanted to see, okay, a 1, that's concerning to me, how did he get that grade? I can then click on that skill. Anything that's blue is going to be a live link, and I can click on it and I can see the assignment that is tied to that standard. So if my son, when I get home and I'm asking him about this, I don't know what you're talking about, I can say, well, on your Columbus Day writing assignment, how was that? What happened there? And get a lot more helpful information. So this gives you as a parent a lot of tools in your toolbox to be able to really have those specific conversations with your students on what they're doing well in, and again, what they're struggling. We recommend highly that you always focus those conversations on your scholars' actions. They're in control of that grade, so ask them, what did you do to earn that grade? What can you do in the future to improve that grade? Those conversations are going to be very helpful. The other thing I wanted to mention is if you ever want to email one of your scholars' teachers and ask them any questions about the class, or just let them know, a fun thing your scholar told you about them, you can click on the teacher's name, and that will automatically open up email, and an email is already started for you referencing your student so they know who the email is coming from and all of that information. If you would prefer to use a different email venue, your Gmail or what have you, you can just go ahead and click on the name and it'll show you the teacher's full email address that you can copy and paste into your own email. So that's just another helpful feature. I know I get a lot of parents sometimes asking, how do I see how do I email my scholars' teachers? And that information is available to you here on ParentVue. There's a lot of other helpful things that you can see on your scholars' ParentVue account, their attendance, any fees that are due. Oh, I gotta pay my scholars' field trip fee. Their health, how many nurse visits they've had. So my scholar's gone to the nurse twice so far this year, and what happened, and a little note from the nurse. So there is a lot of helpful information for you here, but again, that most important thing when you're viewing the gradebook, please, please, please make sure that you click on Standards View so that you can see that information. And again, I'm back in quarter 2. If I want to switch over, simple as that, and I can see how he did in quarter 1. Again, if you have any questions about the gradebook, please reach out to your teachers and admin on your campus. Lisa Autry is always very helpful, and if you have other questions, you're always welcome to reach out to me, Nicole Woods, as well. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful school year.